Happy Sunday. Hi, boys. I miss you still. I hope these are fun videos for you to watch, and I hope you're enjoying the book. I just noticed that this says, read the book, follow the guide, and play the game. There's a game? Oh my gosh. I just noticed it said, play. This is Aiden. Aiden, say hi.
Hey.
It says, log on to infinityring.com to travel back in history and save lives. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. Fix the past, save the future, infinityring.com.
Where did you see that?
Right here. Play the game.
Oh.
Fix the past, save the future, infinityring.com.
Oh.
Well, once again, we are reading a book that has turned into something super cool. Okay. So, we are reading Chapter 3, Storm Relief. The rain was pounding down so hard against the thin metallic overhang, Rick was having trouble hearing the man standing directly in front of him. "I'm sorry, Itchick," he interrupted. "How far did you say your home is from here?" As the man was answering, Rick caught a small blur racing toward them out of the corner of his eye. He turned to get a better look and mumbled under his breath, "Dak." "Nobody messes with my friends," Dak shouted just before launching himself at the men holding the infinity ring. They both fell to the ground and the ring went flying through the air. Rick instinctively dove out into the rain to try to catch it, but the ring landed just beyond his reach with a thud. "The ring!" Sarah screamed. Rick quickly scooped it up and looked it over. It was slightly dented on one side and muddy. The screen was blank. He watched Sarah position herself between Dak and the man he just attacked. "What in the name of mincemeat do you think you're doing?" she asked. "Protecting you guys," Dak said. "Protecting us? From what?" "These Mayan time wardens," Dak pointed at the three men. Sarah slapped a hand against her forehead. Rick ducked back under the awning, dripping wet. "They came out here to help us, not hurt us," he shouted at Dak over the storm. "Ithic here, just offering to lead us to shelter." "And how do you know it's not a trap?" Dak shouted back. Ithic turned to Rick with a look of confusion. "What does this small boy mean, a trap?" Rick sighed. "Honestly, it's best if you just ignore the small boy," he said. Violent thunder echoed through the entire village. "The storm!" one of the other Mayan men shouted over the increasing winds. "It's nearing the village. We must go inside immediately." "Please," Ithic said. "Come with us." Rick handed the ring back to Sarah, who looked it over. "Well, let's hope it still works," she said, slipping it back into the satchel. Rick and Sarah were both staring at Dak. "What?" he said. The noise of the storm made it impossible to communicate. Everyone kept quiet as the Mayans led Rick, Sarah, and Dak through the bustling village. Many people seemed to be headed in the opposite direction, which worried Rick. Maybe they were following the wrong man. But when they stopped in front of an especially large stone hut, he saw other groups of Mayan families hunkering down in neighboring huts too. Ithic and his men quickly unlatched the front door and stepped inside, motioning for Rick and the others to enter. "But we're sopping wet," Rick said, indicating his dripping, muddy clothes and the puddles forming around his feet. "It doesn't matter," Ithic said. "Please, you must join us inside." So they wrung out their clothes by the door. Rick peered through the inside of the hut. He trusted Ithic and his friends, but he also couldn't shake the memory of what happened in 1850, when the SQ slave traders had masqueraded as historians' allies. His eyes went immediately to the cluster of Mayans huddled together in the middle of the room singing. Based on the lyrics, Rick gathered that their song was directed at some type of rain god. He studied their faces, which showed both fear and awe of the storm. The girl around his age suddenly turned and met his eye. She was still singing with everyone else, but he noticed a slight rise in the corners of her mouth. This subtle smile made him feel that he was safe inside. But it also made him feel something else, something he couldn't quite put a finger on. The girl turned back to the group just as Dak whispered, "Guys, listen to me. I don't think they're time wardens." Sarah patted him on the back. "Whatever gives you that idea, Dak? Is it because that's what we just told you outside? Or is it the fact that they basically rescued us from a tropical storm?" "And brought us into their home," Rick added. Dak frowned at Rick and turned back to Sarah. "Look, I'm sorry I damaged the ring, okay? But I saw all these guys huddled around you, and one of them was holding the ring, and I just sort of freaked." Sarah sighed. "Don't worry, I'll fix it," she said. "I'll fix it." "At least I can figure out what time we're in," Dak said. "Approximately, we're definitely in the 7th century, not 1562. We were off by less than a millennium." "That part is my fault," Sarah whispered, "although I'm not sure what I did wrong." "I'm still not convinced landing here was a mistake," Rick replied. "Maybe there's something important happening here, too. Like, what if the storm is somehow connected to the riddle?" Oh. Dak was suddenly so excited he was jumping up and down. "I meant to tell you guys. I saw something important inside the observatory. You won't believe this, seriously." "Go on," Sarah said. "Spit it out." But before Dak could say another word, Ithic clapped his hands together and called to them. "Friends, please, join us in our small ceremony. We are asking the gods not to wash away our crops and for a safe passage here for our neighbors from Kalakamon who are to come and study our discoveries." Rick motioned for Sarah and Dak to follow him toward the middle of the room. As they walked, Dak said softly, "I'll tell you guys about the observatory later. It could be part of the riddle, though. Also, I have a new theory about these people. I think they might be historians." "They're not historians," Rick said, turning away. "How do you know?" "Well, we sort of asked them. Indirectly, of course," Sarah said. Dak shook his head. "No, I definitely think they're historians. Why else would they be so much nicer than the history books portrayed them?" Rick tuned out of the rest of Dak and Sarah's whispering conversation. He was too busy testing a theory of his own. He stared at the Mayan girl who had smiled at him, willing her to turn and look at him one more time. He needed to see how he reacted. It took a few seconds, but she finally did turn to him, still singing, and looked directly into his eyes. And she gave him another smile, too. A real one this time. Rick's suspicions were confirmed. The second their eyes locked, that strange feeling returned to his stomach. It was almost like a remnant, but somehow better. A good kind of queasiness. What did it mean? Whatever the answer, it was unlike anything Rick had ever felt before. So what do you think that was? The next chapter is called A Wrath of Kak? I don't know. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're watching. Leave me comments. I feel like a YouTuber, but leave me questions and comments and guesses of what you think is going to happen. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having fun. I hope to talk to each of you soon on the phone, just so I can hear your voices. From us at the Goat House.
Have you noticed that there was a cat behind you?
Bye.
Look, there was a